Join me in exploring the Wind Wolves Preserve, located at the southern edge of California's Central Valley, where it meets the mountains of the Los Padres National Forest. This area was previously inhabited by the Chumash Indian tribe, and today we're searching for a seasonal food preparation area with bedrock mortars near a seasonal pond. Come join me. Located south of Bakersfield and west of the I-5, Wind Wolves Preserve is Kern County's hidden gem and the West Coast's largest nonprofit nature preserve. The preserve's 93,000 acres include diverse habitats, 5 distinct ecoregions, and 6,000 feet of elevation change. After entering the park at the official entrance, you'll first come up to the visitor center where there'll be some interesting information and things to see. From there, we'll head up, going past the free campground to a parking area with lots and lots of room. From there, we'll head up the dirt road, paralleling a creek that follows the valley up to the mountains. Here, we'll head off the dirt road onto a trail and get down by the trees and some cool water. At this point, we'll turn left and go up this hill, up into the little valley with the seasonal pond and the bedrock mortar sites. We're here in the wide open spaces where California's Central Valley meets up with the mountains and has a special transition zone with these rolling golden hills. After passing through a farming area, you'll enter into the grasslands and drive down a lonely road to the entrance. As we approach, we can see how the flat farmland will be turning into these low hills and then eventually into tall mountains. The entrance to the preserve is free, and so is the campground, which is pretty amazing in this day and age. I'm here at 7 o'clock right when they open, so have very few other people in the parking lot. Also, it's a weekday and the end of June, so it's quite hot, and I expect to see very few people. I'm pleasantly surprised by this small pond I first come upon, which I didn't expect at all. This is a pretty dry area, and this is a dry time of year being summer, and to see a healthy looking pond like this is pretty amazing. There's a small creek that runs the length of this valley through this park and down to feed this pond. I'm pretty sure it runs year round because this pond looks too healthy not to. As I pass by the pond, I hear more water splashing around up here and kind of have to explore and see what it is. Well, this is a lovely sight. I'm going to have to look into this later on in the hike.
Good morning. Thanks for joining me today. I'm in Southern California. Well, not quite Southern California, more the Southern Central Valley. I'm visiting the Wind Wolves Preserve near Bakersfield, and right where the flat farmland of the Central Valley meets the rolling prairie hills that are nestled just below the mountains above Frazier Park. It's quite a special spot, and has a lot of neat nature things to offer, hiking trails, and just beautiful views of all these rolling, beautiful hills. I'm out here on a Monday morning, and there's not a lot of people. 3 other cars in the parking lot, but a nice big parking lot, plenty of room. And even though it's called Wind Wolves Preserve, there's no wolves out here. That's kind of a misnomer in the sense that it's referring to how these waves of grass look when the wind's blowing through them through the canyon here. This big canyon makes a lot of wind, and this grass blows in a way that it sort of looks like there's a pack of wolves running underneath the grass line, sort of if they're hunting prey. So no wolves, but a lot of neat wavy grass.
The landscape serves as a critical habitat linkage and wildlife corridor in Southern California. From rolling grasslands to oak woodlands and pinyon pine forests, the preserve contains vital habitats for threatened and endangered species such as the San Joaquin kit fox, California condor, blunt-nosed leopard lizard, and Bakersfield cactus. Purchased by the Wildlands Conservatory in 1996, this preserve was previously part of a ranch, and at one time owned by John C. Fremont. The original inhabitants of the land, however, were the Chumash and the Yoku Indian tribes. Much like this land connects ecoregions and wildlife, it served as an important connection and exchange point for several tribes in California.
Walking through this section with shade is just amazing right now. It's June and it's only going to get hotter and hotter as the day goes on. And I'm not looking forward to see how hot it's going to feel. Hopefully we can keep this shade for as long as possible. There's a bike trail on the other side of the valley, but it's in full sun pretty much since I got here. So this is much nicer and more natural over here. While there are no wolves out here, it seems there are coyotes. I'm watching 2 of them up ahead on the trail now. They've separated. One's on the trail where I can barely see it. The other one just went off to the right. Hopefully not to flank me. So I looked over to my right, and there's that coyote that I was joking about flanking me. And he's absolutely to my right, just checking me out. Now that he sees me, he's gonna act like he's not up to nothing and be all casual. I'm not really worried about it. There's only 2, and coyotes usually aren't very aggressive as they're not that big. And they're basically just dogs. Now there's another one that's off to my left. That's the one I really need to be thinking about. Aha, there he is. Right over there. Oh, he's running off. Which is definitely for the best. It's nice to see the coyotes, but I don't want them getting too comfortable around people, or especially me. I mean, they are wild carnivores after all. There's plenty of wild coyotes in Los Angeles living in the city limits, but if they're alive, they've generally learned not to mess with people or kill pets, you know, or behave in activity that's going to get them killed by humans. Here amongst the willows It's cool, moist, shaded, and really nice. I think I might have to stop here on my way back. The wind's died down now, and I've got this valley all to myself. There's silence every direction I turn, and only wide open grassy fields surrounded by these rolling golden hills of California. So far what I've seen, this trail is very well looked after. It's got a nice clearing this season of the loose stuff on the trail. And even though it goes through areas like this where there's seasonal washes and the trail gets affected, it's still kept up really nice and super easy to get around on. After traversing the grassy valley, we now come to our side trail. It's going to lead us up here to the left and wind all the way up to the top there. Should be about 400 or 500 feet elevation gain. Hopefully it won't be too tough. It looks like part of the trail is actually still in the shadows, which is absolutely amazing. And I couldn't have hoped for a better situation. Yay, shade. I thought all this uphill would be really difficult, but since a good chunk of it's in the shade, so far it's been really nice. There's even some breeze up here with getting off the valley floor. Not at all like I thought it would be. Finally, we make it up to the top of the hills surrounding this valley, and off in the distance we have Reflection Pond. This seasonal pond, the adjacent Native American site, and surrounding valley had been approved for a 500-acre toxic waste dump. As a result of the Wildlands Conservatory's 1996 acquisition, the dump will never be built. A toxic waste dump superimposed on this magnificent landscape gives us reason to reflect on our human endeavors. Kind of hard to see from here, but I think on that ridge up there, there might be 3 elk. Could be deer, but from that distance, they look pretty big. Not surprising to find critters wanting to hang around this water source. And here's the rocks we've come to look at. Should be interesting things to see on them. Supposed to be some nice bedrock mortar holes to check out. Okay, I'm seeing 5 now. Pretty sure those are elk. They look pretty big and majestic up there on the ridge. Coming up on our first group of rocks here, and boy, this one almost looks like a skull. Look how that's been carved out. The rolling hills lead up to the taller mountains with bushes and then pine trees and sharper rocks jetting into the sky. The seasonal pond below looks pretty nice with a bit of shade from those lovely trees. Amazing they're out here at all. This wide open grassland is very peaceful and not unlike the desert, as it offers wide sweeping views and not a lot of clutter for the vista. Up on this hill I'm seeing a fenced in area, and I suspect that may be what I'm looking for. Well, maybe it's not. This looks to be cement with sharp wire around it, like you want to put an animal in there and keep him still. This is stuck in place, so this isn't used. Maybe this isn't what I'm looking for. Huh, let's keep looking. Let's see, anything up here? Wait. Yep, that's a mortar hole. I finally found one. A lot of poop in there, but that's definitely a mortar hole. Somebody sat up here working at this location and enjoying this fantastic view. These may be also over here mortar holes, although they're a little different shaped. This one's almost got a trough that heads out this way, which is kind of unique. This one maybe was meant to dump something down here as you were crushing it. And yet up here there's another one. This area was inhabited by the Chumash, and I think it's well documented that these mortar holes were created by them a long time ago. Oh, look at this. It says reeds growing out of it. There must be some sort of little seep down here. These shouldn't be growing out of the top of a boulder. That's pretty wild. Let's see, we got some more over here. It's growing right out of the crack here. Look at that. Amazing. More mortar holes. Looks to be quite a few down there. Oh, there's quite a few here. Look how deep this one is. Boy, it goes way down there.
looks like it could be a mono, but broken. Beautiful colors. Look at them all. Boy, they're thick here. Here's some more. And some more. Oh, that's a deep one. Look at that. Wow. And more. There's a big one. I'm up here at this highest rock outcrop from this group, and looking back down here where I saw most of the mortar holes, you can see right here and here they're facing up this way, which is kind of into the sun. So I'm not sure why that was the direction they wanted to look. Maybe the rocks were just right at that area, but maybe they were somehow looking up to this rock. Our dear friends have moved way over there. Looks like there's a few more of them now as well. And over where the deers were hiding out when we first saw them, seems to be a predator on the prowl. I think that's a coyote there. Kind of hard for him to hide, and doesn't seem like he's making too much effort. But not very easy to see from here. I guess it could be a mountain lion. Could be something else, I'm not sure. Most likely a coyote, I think. We'll get a little closer and try to find out. Beautiful view of this little valley, and I've got it all to myself.
Wow, that is super dry. That old bone. Cow, elk, take your pick. And back down towards the water we head to check out the trees. Probably not any water actually there, but those healthy trees are worth looking at. This trail is pretty well worn by the cows. I can see hoof prints all over the place. Wow, look at that. That is amazing. I couldn't have queued that up better if I'd planned. Where could they be going in such a hurry? Maybe a predator was sneaking up on them? They sure came tearing over that hill. Ten of them with 2 babies, 3 babies. I'm going to keep a good look on that ridge to see if what predator might have freaked them out. A lot of cow dung down here, but really nice tree shade. Cooling is nice. I think the air gets a little bit cooler just passing through the leaves of the trees here. Cow pie. Probably good to keep an eye on that ridge line in case any predator comes over. Something had to have been spooking those elk. What a beautiful spot here in this lovely valley. I'd love to visit when this seasonal pond is full of water and the animals come from miles around just to enjoy its cool drinks. See this spot right here? Looks like a deer spent the night. And also there, all through here. Over here, over here. Look at this funky gourd. I've seen these in the desert before. They're perfectly round and look almost not natural, but they are. And they drop all those seed pods like that. Okay, back up on the main trail. Whew. Nice breeze up here. Gee, only a little bit of stuff in my socks. Ouch. 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 And there's where we came from. Way the heck up there. Right there. Whew. It's a lot of work. Well, that was a really cool thing to see. Those mortar holes really evoked thoughts of what the life was like many centuries ago for the Native American Chumash that lived here. They must have collected nuts up high on the mountainside and then brought them down to socialize and grind them up, prepare them for food. Pretty fascinating stuff. And boy, it's gotten pretty hot on my walk here. I don't have more than a mile or two to go, but look forward to wrapping it up. Anyways, glad you could join me today. I appreciate you coming along. Hope you found it fascinating as I did. Take care, and I'll look forward to you joining me next time.